Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of my Transport Fever series here on White Valley. In between this and the last episode, I've made some important changes which I briefly mentioned at the end of the last episode. I went ahead and basically took all the very old vehicles, which, don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of old vehicles, but I went ahead and pretty much got rid of most of them anyway, which are in the reds. And as we can see here, things are doing a lot better. There is still a little bit of red, but most of it will now disappear. And as we can see, we've got a lot younger, better fleets, which is good going forwards. A lot of things are really new, and I think most lines anyway are onto auto upgrades, especially with regards, if we go ahead and actually make this a bit bigger, can't drag that down, but a lot of routes are, maybe I would say about half anyway, are on auto upgrade, which is good, so that makes my life much easier. A lot of trams in towns as well. For example, Portishead, I think, is one of them, have had trams updated from Cobras, which can carry 30 people, up to the Citadis 302s, which can carry 48. I think this town, Portishead, is needing it, and I think it's a good idea to have. Some other towns have just kept their same trams, and I've also done some truck upgrading. Very interestingly, actually, on this route over here, got rid of the old American trucks, and we've got Tesla electronic trucks now, which carry one extra log. The reason I didn't put the big, I guess, ship, what are they, like container trucks, which you get off the back of ships or often on trains, is because they carry 36, and I do not want to increase the wood production. It's already too high, as we can see, so something that I wasn't overly interested in. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now and start off this episode by, first of all, I want to check some of the profits of some of the different lines which we modified last episode. So first of all, this train line which goes from Chorley up via Crowland to Portishead, it was at a loss of about 13 million in the last episode, so I want to chase that up. So it's just about to break even, or it's just making a very small loss, and hopefully going forward it will go into the profits. Crowland is still very small, and I think that's a big issue, so that's probably why it isn't still making too much money. The old line is actually still there, and for the time being I'm going to keep it, though at some point I might go ahead and delete it. But there's, interestingly, right there is a steel mill here which produces me steel, which could be quite useful, so that's why I want to keep the line there for the time being. Though again, I don't necessarily know where everything would come from. We have iron nearby, but then I'm not really at all sure where the nearest coal is for that matter. And then obviously the steel would have to go elsewhere as well. So I mean, there is coal over there, so there is a possibilities, let's put it that way, very much possibilities. On top of that, this route from Burnham to Hampstead, since I've added the 2 new trains, the crowding is generally down, and we're also up to a nice profit of 8 million there. Burnham to Hetton upgraded those trains in the last episode, and they're up to 3.32 million. Chorley to Telscom's not doing very well at all. I can understand why though, because Denham and Somerton just do not have any big, like, people. There's not a lot of passengers really wanting to go ahead and travel between these towns, and if anybody does want to go from Telscombe to the town of Chorley, then you're much faster going in and changing at Burnham actually going forwards. Right, that's a good start to the episode. Just want to check up on some stuff. We're going to go ahead and alter this train station here first of all, actually. So as we can see, in Bawtree we have 3 platforms. There used to be that extension which used to come, the old line, as we were just talking about, used to go from Chorley up this old section into Portishead. And then from Portishead it used to come along here to Bawtree. Hence, we have 3 platforms. However, now things are a bit on their head because I've removed that extension, but we have this extra platform here, and I would like to use this because I want this to go over into the extra platform we have here at Bangor, just because we've got overcrowding here at Bangor, which isn't good. Then we've also got issues here in the town of Hampstead, just because people are using this as an exchange, which isn't great. I mean, it's not bad, it is a very good exchange and it works well, but to take a bit of pressure off of it, we're going to build a line between Bangor and Bawtree. I think this would be a very useful line, and I think it would go ahead and 1, take off pressure, but 2, also be quite profitable, just because I think there's a fair market for people travelling between the two. Okay, so let's first of all go ahead and build this line out of the station. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and not do that. We're going to go ahead and build that there, which is fine. And then you're going to come around the corner. So they amalgamate and they'll use this platform number 3 here at the station. Now to come down here, the problem is we're probably going to need quite a large bridge for that matter, just because we're going downhill quite a bit. We're going to allow for it for now. It's a very low-lying bridge, so it's not too bad anyway. And then we're going to go ahead and double this up. Again, it's not costing me a lot of money. It's not a ridiculously expensive bridge because it's not that high up. And then what's going to happen here is you're going to start to... You're basically going to join in this curve. That is what is going to happen. So we're going to go ahead and bring you into there like that, which is perfect. And essentially now we've actually created a triangle, which is kind of interesting, as we can see here. I mean, it's not a very pretty triangle, but it is a triangle of railway lines, just because the train line from Hampstead to Bawtree, it's not exactly, it follows a large curve so the trains can keep their speed, plus it goes around the farm as well, something I wasn't overly keen on destroying. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring this track right along here, and we're going to keep you going up the hill and into the station. Now this is where things are going to change, so we're going to stop you there. What I want to do is I want to have the current route, which goes from Hampstead through the town of Bawtree over to Portishead. It's going to move platforms. It's going to be, instead of platforms 1 and 2, it's going to run from platforms 2 and 3 going forwards. So we're going to have to make that change very, very shortly, and this new line which we're building is going to go into platform 1. I just don't want any line crossover, and I think this would be quite an easy change to do. This end of things though isn't the best, because I made quite a complex junction here, but it was for the old, or not old change, but it was for the old setup we had going on here. So I just need to wait for trains to clear this station, which is quite important. So let's go ahead and get trains passing through here. That's one left, and then if this other train can hurry up and toot away, that would be perfect. Alright, so that's us train clear at this station, so we can go ahead and get to work. So the first thing we're going to do is delete this extension here, because there's no longer any need for it. That bypass is no longer needed. We also no longer need that stretch there, and this is where we're starting to get our warning. Then what I want to do is delete that bit, and delete that, and that. Yeah, let's just go ahead and redo all this entrance, to be honest. I think that'd be worth it. So, let's delete that section, that bit there, and that tiny section there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to have this bend into there, 61.53. So again, it's a station approach. It's not too bad. You're down at 49, and then that's 186, which is good. And then coming out of this end, things will be a little bit easier, just because there's no bends. I mean, we are on a bridge, yes, but the bridge is generally straight, so that won't be too much of an issue. So what should happen is you should come across over to there, keep in a good speed of about 100 miles per hour, and then you should just go into there like that. And then what we'll have is this is not gonna work for some reason. Construction not possible. Bridge collisions, my favourite kind of collision. Let's delete the U. It might be to do with the bridge, actually. I'm not really at all sure why we can't. It's maybe that tree, oddly. Right, hopefully we can get right over this road, which we can't right now. We can now, though, which is nice. And then you will run into platform 1, which is magic. So what's your error? Your error is to do with this train station here. So what was in 1 is now going to go to 2, and then you're going to go into there, which is fine. So now if we have a look, as we can see, that is the rail route realigned, which is fine. I will need to go ahead and probably add in some more signals, which I'll do in a second when I run the game again. But now we've got this here, what we're going to do is we're going to try and have the junction there, though this is a bad place to have a junction. You will happen after that road. We'll have this 4th line, just because I think that this route is going to do quite well. It's why I want to double it up. I don't just want the one train on it, and then you're going to run into there, which is perfect. So first of all, we'll go ahead and signal up the line we've just made changes to. So we'll go ahead and add in a signal, what, there, and a signal there. That makes sense. Now what we're going to do is we're going to jump to this side and just do something similar. So another signal there and another signal there, which is grand. Then with regards to this new line we're going to create, we just need to put one signal there. And then we just need to double up signals right the way through the line, which is easy enough to do. So add in 2 signals here and here. Add in 2 signals here and here. Another few a little bit down the line. And this is where the train will be able to get a lot of speed. I'm really quite looking forward to this. I mean, it's going to be a very, very short journey, but it's going to have a lot of benefits, and I feel it should bring us in some really good money. Have some more signals there, and then we'll have a final signal just in here like so, which is perfect, and there we go. So that'll go into the train station nice and easy. So let's go ahead and build this line next. So from the town of Bangor up to Bawtree. That's good. Now we can't have the same colour, so we're going to go for a light green. So this is going to be the T, and this is going to be from Bangor to Bawtree, which is good. So welcome to the world, this train line. Something I've been wanting to build for maybe 2 or 3 episodes. And let's go ahead and have its engine house. Just because the engine house, we've got one in the middle of nowhere here, and just because this train line has bridges at each end, we're going to go ahead and instead change things up that little bit, and we're going to go ahead and build like that. Alright, that's good. So let's go ahead now and get in one of these, another train house, or train depot, whatever you may call it. What are we going to go for? Now, I don't know how busy this is going to be. I'm tempted to start off with these trains here and go with 2 of them and see how things go. Because, again, I think it could be quite popular, but there is also, it's only a point-to-point with 2 stations. And then I'm unsure really how frequent it needs to be and also how popular. I mean, I want to say it will be popular, but I'm not 100% sure how popular it will be. So we'll go ahead and put this game onto ×3. Those trains will get moving. And as we can see, all is good now at the town of Bawtree, which is good. By letting the game run just 2 or 3 minutes, as we can see, there's already 17 people waiting on that service, which is nice to see, but something that we're going to have to track a long term, which I will do. I think that it's going to take some pressure off Hampstead. Again, that's going to be quite difficult to measure, but it will hopefully will. We've got 25 people already on this service going away, and no one waiting in here, but this station is crazily busy, so I think it should do the world a good going forward, which is nice. Alright, so with that change made, that is good. That is another connection made, and I'm very, very happy. It should go ahead and relieve stuff. We've still got mass overcrowding, but things are much, much better now. So what I want to do now is go ahead and start to build a railway which is going to be separate from all the other railways. We're going to build I would like to build a loop between these 4 towns here, but I don't think that's quite possible. What I would like to do is I'd like to have a railway which goes from Kendal to Thax and then to Newton Abbot. And essentially we are going to get rid of these buses. It's a real shame. But these buses are... I mean, I can keep the buses. I would like to build a railway line between those 3 towns and also Kendal, Godalming, which I'm going to change this name. I do not like it. Godalming. Godalming is what it is. We're going to call you Gold Mine. Just so much better. Right, Gold Mine. So I'd like a train from Kendal to Gold Mine, then on to Fordwich and Newton Abbot. Would those make sense? Or we can have them maybe go a train from Kendal, Gold Mine, and then Fordwich, and then have one from Fordwich, Newton Abbot, and then into Spalding. Would that be a good idea? I think it would be a good idea, so let's go ahead and execute that. Then Thax right now, it's not connected up, it's connected up by bus. So I'm happy to go ahead and expand on the buses. That's something I am happy to do for sure. So where have we got people waiting on buses? Really on every single line, which is quite good. And then we can actually check the profits of all these buses really easily. As we can see here, these are the top 3 routes, so all doing very, very well. We have got the Hetton to Newton Thaxt, or the Hetton, which goes from here all the way to... Or no, it's these 3 routes, sorry. So they're still all doing very well. So there's 8 buses which go from here all the way into Newton. And it also stops here, which is quite important. a lot of people are wanting to change there. Then we've got 6 buses that go from this interchange here into the town of Newton Abbot, which is doing very well. And then we've got 7 buses which go from here into Thax, which again are probably doing a little bit too well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the current buses that are on this route, because I'm relatively happy with the frequency, and I'm just going to go ahead and upgrade them from City Bus 1s, which carry 40 people, to City Bus 2s, which carry 60 people. So let me go ahead and make that change on both the routes. So that should hopefully make some difference going forward. That's adding an extra 50% capacity on each route, which I'm quite happy about. Then I want to just add in some extra buses which go from Hetton to here, really, is what it is. So let me go ahead and find the buses we have. Let me go ahead and buy 1, 2, 3... Let's do another 4, so we're actually again upping this route's capacity by 50%. And that should allow for the buses to be every 83 seconds, which is very, very nice to see indeed. Okay, so that's why Thax has grown so big. I remember when this place was a tiny wee village of 200 people, which was only a few episodes ago, but it's coming up on 1,000, which is crazy. I don't feel Newton Abbot has had the benefits as much, but we do have train stations already in here to go, which is exciting. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to start from here in Spalding. We're going to have to delete this road here. But what I want to do is I want to go ahead and... This current platform, as we can see, we're using the left one. So what I want to do is I want to use the right one. And we're going to go ahead and have quite a sharp bend actually curve round here like so. And then we're going to have the new line come over here. This is what I'm aiming for, so if we go ahead and do that there's likely going to have to be a tunnel here, just due to the terrain. But we can have you come along here, then you're going to come right along the edge of the map, probably through this gap here I would think, and then come across to Newton Abbot. We can go ahead and make our life a little bit better, we can go ahead and start off by building from this side over to here, which is nice and easy to do, and then again we can do that here, and we should be able to get a nice crossover in here, just due to the flatness of the terrain. Not that I need a crossover here, but I just want to build them. I like to build them, and when they're successful and easy to build like that, that's really nice. And let's go ahead and make that a double switch, yeah, so I quite like it. It looks very, very pretty, especially like that when you look at it at track level. Looks very, very nice indeed. Okay, so that's not the easy part done with though. Let me go ahead and continue. This part's quite easy because it's nice and straight and flat, which is very, very good. So let's continue that round here, and let's continue this round here like so. Now this is where things are going to get interesting, and I think we might need a bit of a tunnel here. So I'm happy to go up a bit, but then we're going to have to go for a tunnel. I need to keep things quite straight, that's the problem. So we're going to go for a tunnel and then a bridge, and then we're going to have to go through whatever this is going to produce me. So a bit of an embankment and then a bridge. And then what I'm going to have to do is have the line come down, but there's actually too much slope now because that line's too high up and it's too low. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to delete this back a little bit. That's me just doing some premature building, I guess. So if we go from there to down to here, is that okay? It is okay, and we can keep a really nice speed going through there, which is great to see. So let me go ahead and double all this up, again costing a fair bit, but this is going to be a really pretty line, mainly above ground, going right to the edge of the map, as we can see on our left, but it also includes a few short tunnels and a few short bridges, and it also goes over a river as well, and through mountains, so it's a win-win. The only downfall though is it is an extremely long line, and I don't feel that it's going to be too profitable to start with, and we're also going to run very small trains on this, but just with a high frequency. I think that'll be the best and hopefully should yield us the most profit. As Newton Abbot is connected to the network already, there should be a bit of demand, and Spalding's grown to be a really decent sized town, as well as things have continued on. So with that connection already made, actually, we can go ahead and go from there. I never realised how long a line it was. It's really, really long without an intermit station, just compared to Spalding and the town of... What is this town called? It begins with S, doesn't it? But I can't remember what it is called. Southgate, that's what it's called. Gareth Southgate, it's coming home. It might come home, it might not, I don't know, and I won't know the answer to that. This has been recorded on the 11th of... is it the 11th today? Yeah, it is. So this has been recorded on the 11th of July, just because I'm in America. So this is the semi-final day against Croatia. Now, I'm Scottish, so you can probably guess which side of what side of the support I lie on. To be fair, I'm actually quite... I mean, I don't want England to win, but I don't mind seeing England doing, or like getting to this later stage. It just means that when they get to the final, you'll just see lots more people crying and lots more people, because the later they get, the more people get their hopes up. And saying that, I'm a Scotland fan, so I've never had my hopes up, so I guess there's not as much to fall down on, if you will. Anyway, enough football chat for the time being. I realise actually there's not a lot of English people who watch, or I'm not at all sure. Since I last checked, but English wasn't one of... it's the main language, obviously, but it seems to be a lot of Americans, it seems to be a lot of mainland Europeans that actually watch my videos. That's my largest demographic group, typically. Although, again, that's split up by quite a few different countries, which is nice to see. Having a nice, diverse viewing audience, if you will. Okay, anyways, this is the T. This is from Newton. And this is going to the town of Spalding, if I can spell, which is good. So the trains, I already know what trains I'm going to go for. We can get some really, really good speed on here, but it's the capacity and the demand I don't feel we're going to get. I would like to go for something like this. Quite a low capacity and quite a... it's not got a high speed though, but the running cost is very, very low. What other options have we got? I mean, that's only 81 miles per hour, so it's not much of an upgrade at all, and it costs more. What about one of these? Because trains can get such a speed in here, that's 5 million. That's the reason I've literally not chose it. I think those would just be a bit too big, so we're going to avoid them. Then, what about... I could just go for... I mean, those would cost a lot though, and it would be too small. Stradler, Flirt, nope. Any other of these trains are too big. What about diesel? What about one of these? Maybe in the middle one of these. So 99 miles per hour is your maximum speed. So maybe if we start off with 72 mile, or not 72, 99 miles per hour, but 72 capacity. I think this is the train to go with. So let's go ahead and get 1, 2, 3, 4 of these on, just because of the length of the track. And let's go ahead and get you guys from Newton to Spalding. Now, before you actually get released out of there, we need to go ahead and sort out the signalling. That is something which is yet to be done. So let's add in our signal here, and then it's just going to be regular signals all the way along the track for the time being. So let me go ahead and very quickly speed up and do this. So that is the train gone ahead and been fully signalled up. Now the good thing is we can use either platform at the station due to our double junction, not jubble junction. But there we go, that is us all set, which is nice. So we can actually go ahead and run the game and then hope that people are ready to go ahead and board our new service. There could actually be quite a lot of connecting people coming all the way from, say, Hampstead or Bangor, Southgate, connecting at Spalding instead of taking the bus from Hetton, because it is a long bus journey. Now, one thing I've realised is that I've been very much against going ahead and building a railway line from Hetton all the way down here. Though I'd maybe be a bit inclined to go ahead and build a line through to Thaxted actually, because that's not the worst distance, and I feel it could actually be done quite easily, just keep going through here and come round here. But I would feel it would be a bit too long, whereas, I mean, this line basically is the perfect length. I wouldn't really go anything longer than Spalding through to Newton Abbot, anyway. How are the trams doing? Or we have buses in here, so buses actually bring people to the station as well, which is good. So I would like to continue on to Fordwich. I would like to go ahead and continue on to connect up new towns. That's something I really want to do, but I feel we need to go ahead and start from the other end, really, from here. So Kendal down to Goldmine. The good thing is there is already a station here, and in the next 2 episodes I just kind of want to get all the towns connected up so we can go ahead and start to focus on goods again, because it would just be nice to have all the towns connected up and just have that out the way. So this is a relatively fast corner. which is good. You go around that at 91 miles per hour. Then this is where we're going to have issues. I want this to come down the hill naturally, though you really do need to drop quite a bit. So we're going to have this bridge here, which is getting quite high, which I'm not happy about in the slightest. The good thing is then we go along that mountain, but it's just going to take so long to get right down, and this bridge has all of a sudden cost me way too much. As we can see here, it's such a drop. Such a drastic drop. It just isn't going to work at all. So what we're going to have to do is change this up instead. We're going to have this come out here. Then we're going to have this ready to go across the bridge. And we're going to have to go around this side of the industry. That is a goods packaging plant, it looks like. So we'll go ahead and start to get you come up here. Though you're going to have to stay flat for the time being. Now, what I want to do is I want to see this line come up the hill. Though, again, it's going to be all underground, and that's just not realistic in the slightest, is it? That would be all the way underground, even... Yeah, I couldn't even be at the surface. Jesus, how long does this need to go for to get up? I've got a feeling it's not coming up. It mustn't... Yeah, it's not coming up. We can go ahead and increase that, yeah, so... Let me go ahead and put the maximum on, and let's just delete that there. How would... Right, let me cut this back a little bit here too. So if we start to go ahead and climb up from here, do this El Natural, then when would you come out of a tunnel? Not until after the station, which is not good in the slightest. I don't know how we're going to do this then. We're going to have this line weave up the hill, I think. That's realistically what we're going to have. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and have this go off to the side a little bit. Like so. Though let's have a better increase in that if we can. Which is fine. Then I want to go ahead and have this join into the hill like so. Try and keep you out the tunnel as much as possible. Then if you do, you're going to have to go into some form of tunnel, aren't you? But that's okay. Then we can have you come up to there. And then you can curve round into the station. I think that could work out okay. So let's have you come across here. Like so, and then into the station. So this original line we started with, we can go ahead and chop it for the time being. And then we can go ahead and start to double up our current line, signal it up, and see how things go. But ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of this episode, just due to the time limit. So let me go ahead and make this connection into there. And there we go. So that is not too bad. Sorry, I've got some hiccups coming up my throat. I can just feel them. If I ever go quiet or I sometimes extend my words, that's often what it is. But as we can see, that's the line there. So not too bad in the slightest. It got a bit of a tunnel, but it is relatively natural, which is what I was aiming for. We're never going to be able to get down here. It was just going to be way too much of a hill, unfortunately, but I guess it maybe doesn't go the most direct way, but it is not bad. Got a bridge, got a relatively long tunnel, but there's no real way around this, unfortunately, and you come into Gold Mine. In the next episode, we'll go ahead and complete the track, which will go from Kendall, Gold Mine, and then Fordwich, and then that'll be all the towns connected up in the game. Again, Thax will still be by bus for the time being, but I'm quite happy with that. It's doing very well, even though with these extended buses, though, they look like they're still full. So what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm going to go ahead and actually buy some more buses for this town. Go ahead and get some more city buses too. And we're going to go ahead and add these on. 1, 2, 3. And that's going to go into the town of Thax. So the Behet and Thax, hopefully that will do well. As we can see, the bus that's leaving here has got 25 people. The bus that's leaving to go all the way to Hetton has got 48. Alright, the final thing I want to do is just basically check up on some of the modifications we've made in this episode. So, how is this train doing? It looks like it's leaving with 65, 66, 70 passengers in the end, which is good. This train station is still very busy, but it's doing much better than it once was. So at this end it's doing well. It's on a profit of 1 million, which is good. I maybe would have expected it to be a bit more. How many people are waiting at this end? Only 8. I'm guessing a train possibly just left. Yeah, a train did just leave. How many people have you got? 44, so not bad. At least it's holding its own. That's really the main thing there, which is good. Now I want to touch base with the modifications from Portishead to Chorley, which goes via the new town of Crowland. That's now in the profit, which is good with these better trains. And the trains are actually all, well, some of them are relatively full, which is good. So that means we're getting much better numbers. And Crowland is starting to grow at a better rate. As we can see, it's at 1 single plus, which means it's growing. Then on top of that, how is our route from the town of Chorley over to Telscombe doing? I don't think this will be doing as well yet. It's still at a loss of minus 2 million isn't bad. We've got 20 people on that, it's 56 on that. It's the highest number I've seen on this route. 49, 25 and 30, so all in all not bad. It is going to get better, and it's not at too big a loss. I'm surprised at that. And then all in all, I think we're doing pretty well over the network. I think all in all there can't be too many routes which are negative, which is nice. With regards to our bus changes, I think they've all gone down well. I didn't actually add any new buses on the Hetton to Newton just because I didn't think it needed it. That's fine. We've got the Hetton to Newton Thax. We added 4 new buses onto there, and that's doing very well. This place is generally a bit quieter, which is good to see. Then on top of that, over here in town, things are very busy. Even with these upgraded trams, things are crazily busy, so that is good to see. Then the other changes we made in this episode were to this new train line. Now, I realise I've just still not had the game run for a long time, so I'm still not expecting much from it. You're the Newton to... yeah, okay, so Newton to Spalding, so you've not really kicked off yet, but we have some people on the trains, which is good. Those numbers should hopefully get better into the next episodes. I think that was pretty much everything. I don't know with regards to trams, I can't really remember what I did this episode. Everything just blurs at times, just because I've recorded quite a few episodes in a row, but we've made some really good changes, which I'm very happy about. As we can see, it looks like we might have to upgrade these trains, because they're doing very well coming along here to Doncaster, and then into the town of Prince Dobster as well. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm wrapping this episode up here, so hope you have enjoyed it. Please leave a like, rate and subscribe if you are new around here. Go ahead and go into the comment section below, give me some feedback. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter, support me on Patreon, and that's all for this video, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for watching. My name is Bigfoot, and I'm out.